What's up, guys? This is Zach here, bringing you guys a first impressions video for Blood and Jade, a brand new free-to-play browser-based MMORPG developed by R². Now, most browser games these days are basically glorified Facebook time wasters or empire builders that you'd play on your smartphone. There are very few MMORPGs that attempt to bring a full-fledged MMO experience into just a browser, and the few that do really do a pretty good job. Games like RuneScape or City of Steam. Blood and Jade attempts to do just that. It's not an empire builder. It's a fully fledged 2D, this time, MMORPG with a perspective very similar to classic isometric RPGs like Diablo and Baldur's Gate. What's the problem? Well, when you start out, you create a character, obviously. Actual character customization in terms of hairstyle, facial features, or body types. Actual character customization in terms of hairstyle, facial features, or body types is virtually non-existent. You can at least choose between a male and female version of your generic hero, which is nice at least. And I will say one thing, the artwork is very well done. The game isn't graphically impressive at all, but the art direction is solid for a 2D game. It really does remind me of old school isometric RPGs. The problem is in the animations. Just look at how these characters, never mind the fact that they're either clones of each other or shadow people, look at how they run and how they attack. There has to be about 3 frames of animation for each of these abilities. I realize it's a browser game, but it's still just terrible. Sometimes the animations glitch out, especially when the game has difficulty loading character models, such as during this great example where my shadow person is riding upon an invisible horse. Sound-wise, the game is fairly glitchy. At first, there was no sound whatsoever. Keep in mind, I'm using Google Chrome for this first impressions. Internet Explorer or Firefox may not have an issue, but I heard no music, no clicks from the user interface, and no sound from my weapons. Well, until randomly at one point in the game where I began to hear lots of music. Of course, the music stopped the moment I switched to a new area, and unfortunately, I never heard any other sound effects or music again for that matter. The music is as you'd expect. It's generic Chinese music that sounds like something they'd play in the background of a Chinese buffet restaurant. And in fact, I think I'll go pick up some Chinese food while I let this game play for itself. By the way, that's exactly what you can do in this game. The game basically plays itself. Most free-to-play games do have an auto-pathing feature which comes in handy for a game like Perfect World, which is otherwise solid. The problem is this game even fights for you. All you really ever need to do is click to accept quest rewards. Otherwise, you can just watch your character run to quest objectives, fight automatically, and run back. It's essentially Jade Dynasty's bot system on steroids. With that said, if you're a Chinese gold farmer and you're watching this game right now, you may want to give it a look, but for everyone else, it's just boring. Now, translation issues abound. The game's official website doesn't really hint of any sort of translation problem, but the game itself is wrought with translation issues. There are even Korean or Chinese characters, excuse me for my inability to tell the difference, left in the game alongside with what developers assume is most likely English. It's just lazy and disconcerting on their part. The game does have a bit of a pet system. You can recruit goddesses to join your team. Each of them have unique appearances and unique abilities that can be used to aid you in battle. And there's also a pretty extensive mount system. And you do at least get your first mount very early in the game, even if half the time you won't be able to see it and you'll be riding on invisible air. In the end, there's plenty of people playing, so if you do decide to take a look at the game, you won't necessarily be lacking other people to play with. The problem is everything else about the game, so I don't know if the game is going to retain a huge player base for a long period of time. Still, head on over to the game's official website if you want to check it out. It's a browser game, so you just sign up for an account and you're good to go. No client download necessary. Otherwise, check out MMOattack.com for more MMO gaming news, reviews, gameplays, and giveaways.